Hello and welcome back to the Deep Thoughts Podcast. I'm Trey, your host. Right now we have a glorious guest for you all today. Her name is Megan Ritchie. Before we get to the interview, I would like to tell you guys that be sure to like the YouTube channel, Podcast Outside the Box Indianapolis. Give us a 5-star rating and subscribe to the channel. Type in some comments. We would love to hear them comments and subscribe. Anyway, back to the interview. We have a glorious guest.
Hi, Trey. Thanks for having me. I am feeling great.
Megan Ritchie, why don't you tell our viewers, and I tell my guest this first question. Tell our viewers, what do you do? What's your title?
I am a group facilitator at Outside the Box.
You're a group facilitator at Outside the Box. That's nice to know. Now, before we get to that, we would love to know, what high school did you go to, and did you see yourself working at Outside the Box?
I went to Southport High School, and I did not. My goal back then was to be a nurse.
All right, the nurse. And that prompted you to go to college, and I assumed your major was in nursing. Is that right?
I had about 4 or 5 different majors during the time I cycled through college. Didn't get a degree in any of them, but I now have a large supply of useless knowledge.
Well, that's nice to know. Now, September 11th, let's talk about that day for a minute, because I know everybody knows about September 11th. Everybody knows where they were when that happened. Do you remember where you were during that moment, and what did you think of that day?
I do remember I was in my 4th grade math class. And I was confused. It meant nothing. I understood nothing.
Okay, 4th grade math class. Yes. And the hospital that you worked at, what was the hospital called, and what was your job there? What did you do?
Different hospitals. Was Francis, and the other was Methodist. At St. Francis, I was a patient tech on the post-surgical floor, and at Methodist, I was a patient tech on the organ transplant unit.
So you were patient techs at both hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
And how did OTB come about? How did that happen?
I had left healthcare. I was not feeling that field anymore. And then I worked a job in customer service that I hated very deeply and made me really unhappy. And I really miss getting to have a job where I interacted with people in a fun way and in a meaningful way. So when I saw the job post for OTB, it seemed the right thing.
You filled in at the U.S. facility after someone who with very big shoes, Emily Myers. A lot of people called her Flash because she was just zoom, just like that. Did you ever meet her? And if you did meet her, what did you think about her?
I did meet Emily, and she trained me to fill her shoes. And I was very intimidated by her.
Intimidated by her?
Yeah.
Why is that?
She was very, very good at her job, and she seemed like she had a lot of responsibilities that I did not feel ready to take on. And in fact, I did not take on most of those.
So 2020 was a hard year for every one of us. Before the pandemic hit, did you have any big plans for yourself that you wanted to do in the year 2020?
Sure did. I had plans to spend 4 days in Chicago to see my favorite band twice, along with my best friends. And I didn't get to do any of that.
So when Zoom came along, when OTB started doing Zoom, was it startling at first, or were you nervous about it?
I didn't start doing the Zoom with OTB until December when we shut back down.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You went to OTB when it was opened in June. I remember now.
Yep. When we
That's
had that
great.
partial reopen over the summer, I was working there.
Did you know Bevy?
I did know Bevy. We didn't get to work together very often. But we were next door to each other. So I did get to see her a lot.
So Bevy was the heart and soul of Outside the Box. Everyone appreciated her. Everyone loved her dearly. Did she impact you in some sort of way? Or did you have any memorable moments of Bevy?
Yes, she was always the very first person to greet me when I walked in the building every morning. Every day she would go with that, "Hey, baby." That was lovely.
Now, let's get to the fun stuff. WWE.
Yes.
WWE.
Wrestling.
So, when did you become a wrestling fan? When did that hit you?
I grew up a wrestling fan back in the late 90s when Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock were the big thing. And then I fell out of it for about 12 years and got back in late 2014 with my brother.
So, did you ever watch, when you was watching the Attitude Era back in the late 90s, did you ever watch WCW to see what was going on there?
I didn't watch it very often. My brother did because he was a bit older than me, but I mostly watched WWE or WWF back then. Probably Sami Zayn when it comes to suits. But as ladies go, it's Rhea Ripley. Of course
you were going to say that. I had no doubt you were going to say that.
You know me well.
Now, let's talk about the Nightmare. So, do you see her defeating Asuka in WrestleMania? I have to get your opinion on these matches. What do you see going?
Oh, I don't know. I think Asuka, she's the top dog. I don't know. I think my money's on Asuka, I gotta say.
Oh, Asuka, okay. The WWE Universal title is on the line in SmackDown. We got Daniel Bryan. We got Roman Reigns. We got the Rated R Superstar Edge. Who do you see yourself coming out of that one?
Oh, I see Edge coming out of that one as the champion, of course. It's his big comeback. He's been out of the game for like a decade, right? After he broke his neck. So for sure. It's Edge's year.
Are you a sports fan, Megan?
I am not.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, okay. Megan, thank you for your time interviewing us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me, Trey. This was a joy.